welcome to the Workshop Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and joining me tonight is my special guest.
I'm your special guest.
My
Sorry.
specialist guest.
Okay.
Joining me tonight is my regular co-host.
There we go.
Tamara.
Yep, that's me.
Good job.
Okay.
Our release schedule has been somewhat chaotic as of late.
Our life has been somewhat chaotic as of late.
Yep, it's one of those, so much stuff going on right now, it's hard to keep track of what's supposed to be done and when stuff is supposed to be done.
Yeah.
But now that you're on strike, that decreases, the stress.
Yes. I love that I get the no pay now.
All that excess money that we had floating around.
Yeah, because that's the problem with teaching, right? You're overpaid.
That's what the government seems to think.
That's what a lot of people seem to think.
Anyway, we weren't going to talk about the teacher strike because
it polarizes people so badly.
Well, and it's an Alberta thing, and
it
most
is
of
an
our
Alberta thing.
listeners aren't from
Needless
here.
to say, there's some stress in our household.
Yep. It's definitely helpful when one person isn't getting a paycheck.
When they are the only person working?
And they're the only person working. Hey, I have disability insurance.
Yeah.
That's
and
enough
my
to...
paycheck is significantly more, and I'm a teacher. That tells you something.
It's true.
Anyway,
it's true.
It's okay.
Tells you how sad my disability insurance is. That's what that tells you.
Yeah, we'll be okay. It is what it is. Everybody's going through this. It's very stressful for parents and kids, and the unknown is very difficult to deal with. And so in that, the unknown being difficult to deal with, and it being the beginning of the year still for lots of kids, I suggested that we talk about emotional flooding.
Yeah, it wasn't a smooth segue. I was gonna say something to the effect of, like everything's being stressful and it feels like emotions are flooding. And then
I was doing it like logically the way my brain was working. I wasn't trying to be punny.
See, this is the weird thing now in our relationship is
since you're getting a master's of arts and I'm getting a master's of science.
Traditionally, you were like the unlogical weirdo. Oh. Now I'm apparently the airy, fairy, flighty one.
I've always known that.
Hidden it so well until now. Anyway, so what is emotional flooding?
Would you like to define it for our listeners?
When emotions flood about.
Yes. When your dam breaks.
Yeah. So
it's an intense... I have it here. Would you like me to tell you what it is?
Go ahead. I was going to say something.
Okay. But... It's an intense, overwhelming surge of emotion that impairs your ability to think clearly or function rationally, often triggered by others' behavior, danger, or high-stress situations.
Well, I was going to say it's when the brain's emotional centers overwhelm the rational and regulatory systems.
I was trying to put it in parent-friendly terms.
Oh, I was just doing in general people terms. Because there are parents that listen.
Okay. Well, general people terms.
I'm curious. You should...
oh, yeah. How many people
leave
are
a
parents?
review and tell how many people are parents. I know a few of you are for sure. But I know some of you aren't as well.
I know what it is. Why can't I say it? I still have hives on my tongue. Can we just preface that I've had hives on my tongue for 2 days? Okay, so...
Can you say that word again?
I can't. I will try. What does the amygdala activation...
What's the amygdala?
Activate. Sorry. What does the amygdala activate in your brain?
So the amygdala is your fight-flight response. It's basically your threat detection, fear center, that type of stuff. Fear, anger center. And so kind of the neuroscience behind emotional flooding is when you become overwhelmed, whether it's a physical or emotional threat, it triggers that fight, flight, or freeze response. And then so your amygdala fires and it's like bypasses and it basically shuts down your prefrontal cortex, which is your rational reasoning part of your brain. And the reason your amygdala does that is because when you're in a high threat situation, like being attacked by a lion or something like that, you don't have time to really stop and think about your actions. You need to be reactive. But in our modern day society, then there's this way too much stress that isn't
being attacked by a lion. Yeah, but it's making our amygdala act.
Yeah, overact.
Yeah, thanks. Right. So what can emotional flooding look like? as a parent. I was thinking as a parent when I was going through this, but it could also be as a boss, as a spouse, as a business partner. Whenever you're in a situation with someone else,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to experience some sort of triggering behaviors, right? So it can manifest as impulsive actions, yelling, harsh discipline, emotional numbing, disconnection, or a desire to escape, right? All of those things. So your fight, flight, freeze responses, like you just said, you're going to look like you're going to see those things happening. It can manifest. I thought it was important to talk about how that it can be emotional, but it can also, you can have physical symptoms like a panic attack.
Yeah, some of the physiological signs that are associated with any sort of fight flight response are
Yeah.
that like rapid rapid
With heart
heartbeat,
rate. Yeah.
your blood pressure goes up, and so you get that tight chest, shortness of breath,
Yeah. Muscle
sweating,
tension.
muscle
Yeah. All
tension,
of those things.
difficulty focusing on.
Yeah. Yeah. Impaired functioning for sure. Difficulty with that, overwhelming emotions, which we've kind of talked about already. But your behavior also, right? Like you might yell impulsively or have road rage, or like those things can be
I don't have road rage.
resort to harsh discipline or shut down completely, become emotionally numb or withdraw or refusal to talk, right? The silent treatment. All of those things I think some of those things I associated with people like not having emotions. But when you sit down and look at all behavior being a form of communication, it's often because they're having too many emotions that those things are actually happening, right? And
Mhm.
so,
Yeah,
which I should know, right? Like, which we know now a lot more about autism, especially, is that it's not a lack of emotions, it's too many. It's they're so emotionally flooded, they
mhm.
just have to numb it out. They just can't process it,
Yeah, and
which is where I originally came across this term.
okay.
So, anyway.
Yeah, and to your point of numbing it is when you're in a. I was talking with a client just recently, a couple days ago, and he talked about how he was talking about how his response is to this emotional flooding or to this overwhelming not knowing how to deal with his emotions is to just consume alcohol.
Yeah.
And so
And that's very common. Yep.
yeah, that's where
Substance abuse.
substance abuse is often a problem with people who are constantly emotionally flooded because
Because they
they
just don't want to feel it anymore.
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
thing that knocks it down and stems the tide, as it
Yeah.
were.
Yeah. And I think it's important to realize, like, from one of the things that I was talking about, like, your children can be your trigger often, right? And if they're emotionally flooded, which happens often in little people, because little people, big feelings, big emotions, it's going to flood
Yeah.
on the daily.
Yeah.
But it makes you, like, you can only take it so much. And I think we're seeing that a lot or I'm seeing it like with people who are like, "Ah, I want my kids to go back to school." I'm like, oh yeah, I deal with like all of your kids.
I deal with all of your emotionally flooded kids every day.
Right. And it can be a lot. And teaching strategies and skills for what to do and how to calm down and regulate, recognizing that your kid might be shouting or screaming or hitting or kicking because they are overwhelmed. That doesn't mean that there doesn't need to be a consequence for the behavior that was inappropriate, but teaching them, okay, when you're feeling like this, when your heart's starting to race, when you feel that, when you see red, right? Like going through those things with them, but then also remembering to go through it with yourself. When I see red, when the dishes aren't done and this thing hasn't happened and I've asked you to do this on the 15th time and I start yelling, that's me becoming emotionally flooded. And when we should really be stepping back and saying, okay, how can I deal with this in a way that where I calm my own body down first, put on my own oxygen mask first, and then readdress the situation,
Yeah.
right? And I think as creative people, often creative people have bigger emotions. Like you're kind of known for that, right? Like cutting off your ear or different crazy
That's
things,
a
right?
really common creative person thing to do. Cut off your ear.
Well, I'm just thinking about like, or even like, like Beethoven sawed the legs off the piano and pounded on the floor and kind of with disregard for others because they have so much going on. It's difficult to see other people. So it's actually a really important skill to teach yourself and your children, is to start to look for those emotional waves, those floods coming. And if you can stem it
Mhm.
before you flood, great. But if you can start to notice when you flood first, I'm feeling flooded. What do I need to do? What works for you? Because what works for you is different than what works for other people.
And I think that's the important thing to recognize. Like you said, step number one is to recognize, yeah, hey, I am overwhelmed. Because then you can, it's like the whole name it to tame it thing, right? If you don't realize that you're upset or that you're emotionally flooded, it's hard to actually take action to change that. And so that's where I've been talking with a lot of people about values versus outcome goals. But this is like the type of person you want to be is an important metric by which to judge if you're emotionally flooded or not, right? Like, I don't know too many people who have the goal to be excessively angry.
No.
But so if you want to be a good or a happy person as a value, then assessing your day and assessing your actions by the lens of your values, you can go, well, I lost control at this point. This isn't the person I wanted to be here. This isn't the person I wanted to be there. So that's an indicator of, okay, that's probably where I was emotionally flooded at that point during the day. And so then you can begin to, like in retrospect, you can begin to recognize those. This is the times when I was having an issue. And so then the next day you can be a little bit more aware of, hey, I am in this flood right now. And then when you start to recognize that, you can just eventually work backwards from the top to the bottom of the whole pyramid, basically.
Which I completely agree with and sounds amazing. But how do you do that? You do that through self-reflection. Is that an easy thing to do?
Yes.
Right? We love it. I also think, and I've been thinking about this a little bit because I don't like when I sit down to journal, I feel like it's got to be like this wonderful journal of exactly what I did. And if I forgot something and I wake up later thinking, oh no, I didn't journal that part, then I think I failed at journaling. So maybe.
Which then becomes overwhelming and you become emotionally
and then I
flooded
just
about
won't,
it.
and I won't do it anymore because I feel off. So maybe something to think about when you're looking for a pattern is to try and treat it with like an experiment to make up a set of questions you're going to ask yourself at night that are specific, measurable, like they're smart questions, right? And you make those up and you say, okay, did I lose my temper today? And then you have a checklist of a couple of things. Yes, I lost my temper. It was in the morning. I know the trigger. I don't know the trigger. And if you know the trigger, write it down. If you don't know the trigger, so that you have a simple way of tracking that. Set it up kind of like I would set up a behavior tracking sheet for a kid at school. And that way you can just check this, and then you look for the pattern afterwards. Because I was thinking about this too, and I'm like, I find it so frustrating, and I do, and that's why I've never done it. Is I don't want to go back and read through my session in my journal. But if I had something where I was just tracking that would make more sense to me.
So that actually brings up a question. This is a thought that I had yesterday when we were talking about this a little bit, and something that I've thought about doing for clients actually. And this is a question for you and for the listeners. Would there be interest in a specific behavior modification reflection journal?
Yeah, but don't call it that, because then you feel bad about yourself.
But my daily reflection journal or something like that, is that something that if I was to, or we were to spend the time developing, is that something that would be of interest to the listeners? I know that I have
to make like the behavior arc to ride the flood out.
The behavior surfboard. Anyway, I know I have some clients that would benefit from it.
Yeah, well, I think that's something that I've found.
And I would probably benefit from it.
I've been thinking about like when we talk to our kids about it and stuff too, teaching them to reflect now is going to be so much easier for them to deal with it later.
Yeah.
If, make a simple one. So yes, I think that's something that we should do.
Okay. We will.
But I'd love your input on it. Any ideas, any information? I would be, I mean, even if we just do it for us, I think there's value in it.
Okay. So if that's something you would be interested in, tag us on the social medias or send a suggestion or question or a yay or a nay via questions@workshoптherapypodcast.com.
Yeah.
Anyway, Now that we've shamelessly plugged something that we don't actually have yet.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, recognize the signs, which we were talking about, track it, and then once you've kind of seen the pattern, then decide what technique you're going to try. So I think, like, for me, that's where I've lost on behavior tracking and stuff before, is where they're like, here's the behavior, here's what you're tracking, here's what you're going to use as your like intervention, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think you need to do your control, track just the behavior. Right? So that's the thing, because I think it's like exercise for me. When I start off feeling like I need to exercise 30 minutes today, I'm never going to do it. I need to do 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I can build. And then I can do a little bit more. And I remember, oh yeah, I did 5 minutes. That was easy. I can do 7 minutes. I can do whatever. So then as you go, just start building on it to build up your resilience, but also to seeing those patterns to a point where, like, okay, this is this. Now let's try this. Nope, that didn't work. Right? But if you can't...
To the what can I do? Personally, I think one of the basic and easy things to do is the whole, like, breathing thing. You know, like, take a few deep breaths.
And there's times when take a few deep breaths is awesome. And for some people, deep breaths can be triggering.
And this is what I was going to say.
Because we've talked about this.
Yeah, and this is why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. So deep breathing is one of those things that, like you said, it can be triggering for some people, but there's a reason why. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about deep breathing and the physiological effects of it. So deep breathing is when you take a long, slow inhalation and then a long, slow exhalation. So typically, like, if you're breathing at a rate of like 4 or 5 deep breaths per minute, that would be a good deep breath pattern. But one of the things about deep breathing is it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. So the opposite of the
amygdala.
What the amygdala activates. Yeah. And so when you're doing that deep breathing thing, your brain recognizes, hey, I'm obviously not under threat, calms things down. So this reduces your heart rate, reduces your blood pressure, helps you calm yourself. Yeah, so you shift from that sympathetic or fight flight to a parasympathetic sort of balance. Deep breathing improves your heart rate variability, your what's called your respiratory sinus arrhythmia. So that's your oscillation of your heart rate. And so if you have a greater variability in your heart rate, then that's typically a good thing. Right. I mean, within reason, right? Like if it's just going crazy all the time,
that's not so great.
Yeah, that's not good. That's arrhythmia, which is
for alarm.
Yeah. Deep breathing reduces cortisol, stress hormones, and something else that you don't actually think about, but it doing those deep breaths, it helps kind of clean out your lungs, basically. Because if you think about it, right, carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen, or is heavier than normal air. So it's going to settle in the bottom of your lungs. And so if you're only doing deep, shallow breathing, shallow, fast breaths, you're building up carbon dioxide in your lungs, which can create some respiratory alkalosis if it's really bad. But so that deep breathing helps kind of clean your lungs out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There is some research that talks about insulin sensitivity being better. So having a deep breathing practice helps with high blood pressure or high blood sugar, maybe even enhances your mitochondrial efficiency. So that means your cellular metabolism will actually be a little bit better. Obviously it changes your brain function, right? And allows your prefrontal cortex to take a little bit more control over the limbic system, so your amygdala and all the other stuff, right? And that so there's all these physiological effects of deep breathing. But to your point of it being potentially triggering for some people, the reason that occurs is because lots of people hear deep breathing is a good thing for when you're stressed. And so they do this deep breathing thing when they're feeling stressed. Yes. And then psychologically, the deep breathing becomes associated.
Because that's the only time we're deep breathing.
Yeah. You're only deep breathing when you're stressed. So psychologically, it becomes tied to that deep breath or to that stress. Yeah. And so then when you begin deep breathing,
it makes it worse.
Your body views that as an additional stressor.
100%.
So this is where, like, I suggest when you're reflecting, you decide, okay, I'm gonna do this reflection thing. I'm going to learn how to identify these emotional floods and learn how to control them.
Right.
While you're doing the reflection time, or when you begin doing that, taking a time during the day when you're calm to begin deep breathing exercises at the same time is beneficial, because then you're developing
like at the same time as when you're doing your reflection.
No, like,
good, because I think that would be stressful.
No, during the day.
Just saying.
Like during the day, when you recognize, hey, this is a calm period, I'm going to take 5 cycles of deep breaths.
Right. Okay.
So you begin developing the deep breathing practice, and you associate it with times of calm.
Yeah.
And then once you get into the weeds with your self-reflection, then you identify, okay, here's my emotional trigger or whatever. This is the thing that's setting me off.
Right.
Then when you get to the point of going, okay, I'm going to now implement deep breathing to help me calm down at this moment.
Right.
It's already a pattern of relaxation instead of tying it in with this moment of stress all of a sudden. Yes. So then you get the benefit of it.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So the reason, and that's the reason why I always tell people, if you're going to do deep breathing, don't do deep breathing when you're stressed initially.
Yeah.
Because
that was a mistake.
Yeah, because it becomes counterproductive.
Yes.
So if you develop the habit of deep breathing, and it doesn't have to be like all day long every day you're taking these big deep breaths, but like pick a time when you're calm and relaxed.
Yeah.
And take 30 seconds or a minute and do, I like box breathing because it's kind of the easiest way to think about it.
Yeah.
So like box breathing is you take a deep breath in for the count of 3 or 4 or something like that, hold for 3 or 4, and then breathe out for 3 or 4, and then hold for 3 or 4, and then breathe in for 3. Right. And so you just like that box. Some people prefer like a triangle instead. So deep breath in and then deep breath out and hold, or deep breath in, hold, a deep breath out, deep breath in, hold.
Yeah.
Depending on
whatever works for you.
Yeah, whatever works. It's really not super critical how you do it.
Yeah.
With the exception of doing it when you're calm initially.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It can be difficult to reset that once you've messed it up.
Yeah, so just don't breathe. Just don't breathe if you're stressed initially. That way you don't associate breathing with being stressed.
Yeah.
Emotional flooding.
So,
do you have anything else to add? A wise one.
Well, I was just going to talk about just making sure that you remember that it's a communication breakdown, right? So it can make it difficult for you to empathize. It can make it difficult for people to empathize with you. So once you start to recognize that, you'll actually improve your relationships with other people around you and change that. And I'm not at all speaking from a place that I'm doing this right, because I'm working on it.
Well, it goes along with that high emotions equals low intelligence.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So just making sure that I think that the last thing, like just kind of to wrap it up, making sure if this is resonating with you and you feel like, yes, I can do these things, I'm going to be able to make some changes, and it's A, not working for you, or B, it's resonating with you to the point you're like, oh yeah, I got a problem with this, seek professional help.
Yep.
And I'm not meaning that in a like, you're a crazy person. I'm meaning like, get help. If you had a flat tire and you didn't have the stuff to change it, you would have somebody help you do it. This is just a sign that your car, your personal car, is having...
Yeah, emotional flooding is a check engine light.
It's a check engine light. There is a light on. Get some help. There's lots of great counselors out there. There's lots of great people out there who can help you to make some changes. You don't have to stay flooded.
Or you could even up your contribution on Patreon to get in on the group therapy.
Yeah.
Or group sessions that are one of the benefits of Patreon.
Yeah, and I think
for the first person that signs up for I think it's $25 level.
Yeah.
For the first person that signs up for that, you're essentially getting one-on-one counseling and therapy at that point.
For $25.
$25.
It's pretty cheap.
It is pretty cheap.
Yeah, just think about it. You don't have to stay like that. There is hope. There is ways to change it, and there is a lot of people who are going through the same things who don't feel alone.
Yeah, and to that point, I think it's important once you start recognizing, hey, this is emotional flooding. That's when you start to take back, instead of being reactive to emotion.
Yes.
You become proactive, and you become, instead of constantly reacting, you now become the agent.
Yeah, well, that's some of what I was reading. It talks about, like, once you're flooded, it's really hard to get back to a non-flooded state without intention.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard to be intentional when you're flooded.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a self-defeating, self-feeding cycle.
Yep. When you're running from a lion, it's hard to stop running from a lion.
Yep. and unfortunately, when you're running from a lion, everything looks like lions.
Yes, exactly. And so you'll be flooded when you don't need to be. Anyway, we're going to work on it in our family, and I'm going to work at creating something, since I am home and on strike, for our children to start using, and use them like little guinea pigs in my lab experiment. I shouldn't say that on here.
Well, it's not like you're sending them down a maze where they're going to get shocked or something like that.
No, but I think if we can teach them how to do this now, how much easier and better they will have things when they are parents and people in jobs and that kind of thing, right? And remember that for lots of kids on the spectrum as well, this is a really, really important skill to teach.
Yeah, and
it can be taught for different. I mean, obviously not. It'd be difficult if you were at a level 3 or something like that, but for your level 1 autism kids, this is super important skill.
Yeah, and it can be taught to everybody.
Whether
I think you're autistic or absolutely, because we're all in a very high stress world where there's constant demands on our attention, and we're constantly,
everything looks like lions.
Everything looks like lions, and we're constantly in a state of reactivity. So if we start to be intentional about recognizing where we are not being who we want to be.
Yeah.
It starts with just recognizing that. Exactly. I mean, you don't have to, it's not.
Well, that's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Recognizing is the first step, and that's it. You don't have to do anything with it except for recognize it.
Yep. And that's progress.
Yep.
Anyway, with that,
have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving from Canada.
Yeah, happy Canadian Thanksgiving. And I'm going to have you say thank you to...
No, I butcher people's names.
I know, it's hilarious.
Because I'm not a phonetic reader.
There's a new person on the free Patreon, Tofifi.
I don't know.
Don't know that one.
Okay. All of this?
No, those are the free members.
Okay, we read the paid members.
We'll read the paid members. The founding fathers, I'll read those, then you can read the rest.
Great.
The founding fathers, Mr. Matthew Serio from Artigiano Serio, Brad of Brad's Customs, Keith Drennan of Blackthorn's Concepts, and Eric of Overall Makerworks, and Brandon Millichamp of Tectonic Creations. You guys are the founding fathers, and we thank you for that. And now on to the rest.
Carol Ann, sorry, I'm too far from the screen. Joannette Racine.
Yep.
I know who she is, like from like her handle, because I follow her on Instagram as well. Okay, Waffle Beaver.
Bryce the Waffle Beaver.
Owen still has his Waffle Beaver book that he draws in. He likes that.
Ed changed his thing. That's Ed Johns.
Ed from
okayestwoodworker.com.
Oh, okayestwoodworker.com. Okay.
He's the okayest woodworker.
Probably not. He's probably much more than okay, but that's okay. I'm Canadian. I can't do these things. Miguel Angel Vial. I don't know. Can you say? This is bad. Miguel, we really appreciate your support.
See if I can do it right from my Spanish days. Miguel Angel Vilela, I think is how you'd say that.
I got nothing.
You should send us a comment if we said it right, or if I said it right. She definitely didn't say it right.
I definitely did not.
Tony.
At Woodland Iron. Earl 3.
There's another one.
Oh, David Wood.
There's your favorite.
Oh, Nicole Spagnolo. I do, yes. She is my favorite. I follow her also. Vince Lee. David Desjardins. And Meh.
Yep.
I like Meh. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your support, everybody.
Yes, very much.
We appreciate it. and we'll catch you on the next one. We really need like some sort of catchy closing out thing.
I don't know. When I say goodbye to the kids, I say goodbye in like as many languages as I know, and they think it's hilarious.
Okay.
But that takes too long. We're not doing that now.
How many languages do you know goodbye in?
A dozen or more.
I know goodbye.
Au revoir.
Arrivederci.
Abiento.
What's that one?
I don't know.
Das Vidania.
Yeah. Aloha. They really like aloha because I say it to them like hello and goodbye. I like that one.
Bryce, is that true, Bryce? Is aloha actually he's from Hawaii?
Oh, yes. Answer for us.
Is it true that it's a hello and goodbye? Because that confuses me.
Many things confuse you.
Oh, thanks.
When they say it to me in
Adios.
German, we say it now I can't think of it because I'm looking at you, and I know it in German and I don't know.
So I'm just so stunningly handsome to you that you take your words blank. Off.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
My English skills are really poor right at the moment.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Au revoir.